actually won 3 games in a row back then because they went back to a strategy as old as time, protect the double lift. It's what Team Liquid just beat CLG with, and now CLG is blue side and could very easily start putting the components together for a similar team composition.
Should really see that double AD coming in for Counterlogic Gaming. They control the game when they have that much power and that much ability to get around. Who knows, though?
I hate the Morgana ban by CLG
every time.
the series.
Every time.
All 3 games
in a row.
It's one of Afremu's best champions, and they have first pick if they're that worried about it. I know there's other contestable things, like Lulu and Sejuani. Ex-Smithy Sejuani was not that powerful. Why not just ban Sejuani and first pick Morgana, let Afremu play it?
Or see what the force comes along the way that if they need to ban that, if you get a one opened up, something. But they have just played this textbook right into it. Maybe the call of the Skara coaching staff down on.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we saw the team discussing at length right after that game.
Right after the game.
You get to discuss everything from what went wrong in the game to changing your pick and ban strategy around. These guys are very well prepared, so they definitely have logic behind this Morg ban. I personally just don't agree with it.
Well, we'll have to see. There's always interviews after the games where they reveal a few of the things here and there. Maybe we won't get Counterlogic Gaming if Team Liquid can keep playing strong, so we'll have to look out for why they kept doing this. It's not helping them so far. Lulu is their last ban, but it may be the way they get around Team Liquid this game. Figure out what they've been bringing to the table. Counterlogic Gaming has thrown a lot of sticks into the spokes, I'd say, with the picks that they have. Not really working out for them, rather than going back to comfort. We've seen the Vladimir, the Karthus come out now, Nautilus for Afremu. A lot of changes here for quarterfinals.
And now we'll get to see if CLG is making meaningful mid-series adaptations in the pick and ban phase. If they have not, then they pick Vladimir here. Just like they would in Game 1. Their bans were very similar. The only thing they left up was Zed. Instead, switched that with an Urgot ban.
TF again.
Yeah, Team Liquid decided to ban Twisted Fate. I mean, now the real question is, do they think Ex-Smithy's Sejuani was good enough? We saw how many ultimates he missed after that game. It did not look like a super solid pick.
Big AoE, small projectile.
It's true. It's actually a really hard skill to land, but at the same time, you cannot miss that many. They're really taking their time on this one.
Okay. Something Zion Spartan has excelled on throughout the year and can control the lane. Lee Rumble gets picked in first for Counterlogic Gaming, showing a little bit of objective control, but not initially what the composition is going to be.
I do like Zion Spartan on Rumble.
Yes.
For one. I wouldn't mind him on a super tank either, but I feel like based on how well Piglet played Kog'Maw, they might be a little bit scared of that. With the Lulu ban, I think they would have been totally free to pick something like Sion. I know this is the 5.6 patch, and Sion has been slightly nerfed, but Sion, Zion, Spartan is really strong.
Still a big boy. Is the bird the word?
No.
I don't think so. Could be Hecarim as well. I was going to bring that up. We're going to see a little horse top laning. See how that goes.
Really dangerous to pick that against CLG. Hecarim can be heavily denied in lane swaps. Heavily denied. Especially once he falls behind. He can't farm if he cannot overpower someone in a duel. Last game, Quas fell really far behind Zion Spartan, so Team Liquid will have to put a definite focus on him, which will probably give Doublelift an edge over Piglet. Yeah,
he doesn't have that option this game to be pushed out of lane. You have to get that farm and gold onto Hecarim. You can't Lulu ult people later.
Whoa!
Alistar gets locked in with Smithy's Jarvan.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen this jungle Jarvan. He was so dominant early on in the split, but with the warrior nerfs and the Cinder Hulk buffs and the emergence of tank junglers, Jarvan fell off pretty hard. Although CLG can still use it to create early and mid-game fights, I wonder if he goes Cinder Hulk Jarvan. I have seen that in the LPL.
They bring out the cooker composition already. We'll see. A lot of right now these members can get out of that cataclysm that we're looking, and they may be able to do so even more with the pickup of a Janna and possibly Piglet getting Lucian here for this last matchup.
Vayne is much better against Jarvan than almost any other AD carry. But Lucian reacts better with the Janna shield, I think. Yeah.
Piglet with a smile on his face there.
The Vayne game.
The camaraderie between the AD carries and Vayne being pretty much their top top gunner. And it's hovered over here as we finalize pick number 4 and 5. Twitch has also been quite a hover here. Can bust some tanks if necessary, but still scary picks right now with how these fights are going and how fast you can get to that back line. Got to be able to protect your AD carry.
Yeah,
taking their time.
Mid lane AD carry picks here. Even though Zion Spartan's been the top performer throughout this series, they need more than that in order to win. They do not know what Phoenix will be playing in mid lane, so it makes Link's pick very difficult here. Doublelift generally knows what he's going up against. Strong tank line, strong lane. Hard to pick against. Graves is a generalist. Sivir, oh, they go with the double AD. That is the CLG special. This is what they played the best with throughout the season.
Gave a little fist pump there. Know we're going to get a good game out of this one. CLG fans definitely happy as well. These kind of what I was talking about earlier with Link being able to play a little bit better and more comfortable on champions. He can really do some work on. And that Ezreal might just be the one that he can give Phoenix help with and the rest of Team Liquid. We'll see though. Still,
it's a very well-constructed CLG team comp as well. Double AD, maybe some weakness in the bottom lane, but CLG makes up for that with lane swaps and really strong 20-minute power spikes. Does Phoenix just roll a mid lane Vlad into this, though? Wouldn't that be something?
Why not? Would be the first time. Keen, or rather, that Urgot, that Vladimir lately. He is no stranger to it in the mid lane, right?
Team Liquid lost that game.
Well, 1 second. I don't think he's going to change it.
Would be a late swap.
He's going to be locking in the Vlad. The compositions are round out here for Game 3 and what could possibly be CLG's. Well, it is CLG's last chance to get a win here in this series.
No margin for error anymore for Counterlogic Gaming. Their double AD team composition, good tank line. They have magic damage threat from the Rumble as well. Alistair and Jarvan can create the initiations. This is well constructed by CLG. Look over at Team Liquid as well. How good will the Sejuani be from I Will Dominate? Because if he can successfully lock down the AD carries and combo that with Phoenix and Quas throwing damage down on top of it, that can also be the end of the double AD carry composition. That's not even thinking about what Piglet's going to be doing against this. Really a fascinating matchup here. All these team comps have had their own trade-offs. No game here we have entered with team comps that have the same goals. I don't necessarily think one comp has been better than the other, but in-game they've just been played better. And see the same thing again here.
Well, it comes down to the line now. Will Counterlogic Gaming be able to hold strong as Team Liquid just pulling out a late season surge here, being able to get the wins they need, find the cooperation within the team? I think that was one of the biggest things for them. Let us know how you think this game is going to advance, or who is rather going to advance to the semifinals. Tweet hashtag CLG win or hashtag TL win to @AlloWaySports, and we will update the fan vote shortly throughout the game. Very quick best of 5 so far. Counterlogic Gaming hoping to stay alive here. Game point for Team Liquid as we get on to the Rift and we get into the game. Team Liquid looking to keep that history of head-to-heads here versus Counterlogic Gaming, or rather the team in general. That legacy of...
It's now 7 games in a row they've defeated CLG.
Yeah, 7.
Going back to last year's Summer Split Playoffs when it was Curse versus CLG. 2-0 in the regular season. 2-0 so far this series. And CLG needing to win 3-0 if they want to move on in the playoffs. So a very tall task in front of them.
Yep.
We always talk about these teams and how they react to adversity, whether or not they tilt coming up big under pressure. And for the first 2 games of the series, while Team Liquid has been under pressure, the pressure is highest when they need to clinch the series, especially considering the way that they did not make it to Worlds last year for X Special, I Will Dominate, and Quas. They were up 2-0 against LMQ and then lost 3 games in a row. Oh, hello.
Good day, sir. Gives him a few love taps. Yeah, they should be able to keep their heads on straight. Heard in the playoff teaser that went up on social media a few days ago that one of the biggest things these teams fear, even when they're ahead, is becoming relaxed, thinking you have that lead, because that's when you can easily lose the game to your opponent.
biggest fear is collapsing under pressure as well.
Yep.
Doublelift said his biggest fear was them sucking in playoffs. They're at danger of having that come true. Down 0-2 to Team Liquid, the last team to qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, he does have a way with
tiebreaker against against Team 8. Yep, split maps once again. Third game in a row we have lane swaps. All two times this has actually been in the favor of CLG. And then Team Liquid wins in the mid game.
Yep, both teams say freeze, please. And we get that on both sides of the map. Jungler, or rather, supports are actually able to hang out as well. They don't go off. As I say that, Xpecial's backing. I was going to say they're all kind of absorbing experience at the same time. So see if that has an effect as we move up to level 2s or 3s and anyone matches up. Xpecial stays in lane, so we'll keep on that roll then. Yay. Smithy and Spartan keeping it together here in the jungle. We'll see where the first gank comes from. I feel like Dominate and Quas are going to have a bit faster of a clear here as they get around.
Yeah, this is incredibly mirrored. And even though Team Liquid has been losing these early games to CLG, they're not losing them badly. They're generally just copying what CLG has done. This is the only variation CLG's throwing out, trying to gank Phoenix. He was always going to Bloodpool that gank if he hits level 3. Unless that gank hits at level 2 and Phoenix hadn't skilled up Bloodpool, that gank is not working. That actually delays their double jungle. They only cleared the red buff. They didn't finish off the other camps, I don't believe. Yeah.
Slow push towards the top side. Expect the damage to be done here. So textbook for both teams, except for that little bit of a gank towards the mid lane here for CLG. See if that gets them in any trouble as they go deep towards the second tier turret to make sure nobody walked out of that one alive in the bottom lane.
Oh my. This is...
Yeah.
Yeah. CLG doubling back. They always win these early games by a small margin, and they're getting turret and minion wave pressure right here, and because they're in between the turret here, I don't know if Team Liquid can make it there for the defense.
It's a party.
It's a lot of time wasted there for Team Liquid. This is probably the best opening 4 minutes the CLG has had in the series.
Ooh. Well, right now the percentage is definitely on their side, but the early game moves in favor of Counter Logic Gaming with that bottom lane. Like you were saying, Team Liquid didn't get much out of that. They were left running towards it and then walking away.
In game 1, Team Liquid tried to send 3 people to meet the wave of CLG's 4 people. They tried the same thing this game, but this time Team Liquid was the slow team and CLG beat them to the spot. So Team Liquid ended up wasting a lot of time. They lost that wave entirely, which is one of the big reasons that that gold difference exists.
35-27 in that CS as well. You still have Piglet freezing that lane as much as possible towards the top side. CLG gets deep wards towards Gromp, the turret in the bottom side, and Dragon as well. Good thing that doesn't give gold anymore, because that would be big for these guys.
Piglet is still freezing. Piglet is still freezing in that lane. This is a Dragon turret advantage without a CS discrepancy by CLG. Unless we see a fight here, CLG is quite low for the Dragon.
Oh, without Piglet right now. Smithy tries to get out. He gets the Ignite. Xpecial still focusing him, but needs to give Peel to the team. It's a very big back and forth. There's hardly any damage on the board. Link comes back. Actually comes to the fight. He was just taking a little bit longer to get there, and they finalize first blood. Everybody getting an assist on that across the board.
Yeah. Even though CLG did not get the Dragon, the fact that they picked up Link First Blood makes this early game even better. The places they are backing are not places that are required to get farm. Ezreal still farming in mid, Doublelift Aframil still farming in bot, and Piglet still freezing this lane, but it's not giving them any advantages. The top lane CS is equal, mid lane, across the board, it's equal.
Doesn't look like they're going to match it up just yet. They are going to be sending Zion Spartan towards that top lane so he could try to stop Piglet from doing that bit of freeze now. And just about 95% for level 6s in that mid lane. Might see Link go down with that low mana. He's getting pushed in by Phoenix. CLG still put the pressure here on the bottom side. They don't want to give Liquid any chances to come back here. They have done it from a 3,000 gold deficit, so CLG wants to keep the pressure on.
And with the jungle Jarvan versus the Sejuani, it is a bit of a team fight difference. Jarvan's still going to be that mid-game, early-game power, whereas Sejuani will take longer to turn into a powerhouse. It does seem like Xmithy might go Cinderhulk Jarvan, though, with that health crystal early, trying to protect this top lane turret.
Oh, Smithy making the call. His Raptor buff just got popped by that ward from X-Special here. Where's he going? Oh, he's just harassing a little bit towards the top side. We just saw Link use that True Shot Barrage in mid, so he could go back and buy. Expect to see that a few more times here to make sure Phoenix doesn't get too much roam on, as well as keep the lane in his favor. Still getting pushed in here by Phoenix as well. So back and forth there is 56 to 48 in the mid lane. Link stacking that tier. Comes back with the Sheen. Might actually be able to make some plays here on the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Ping for the bottom lane.
Link's Ezreal.
A little bit of wave clear.
Actually, when he gets early kills, it's ridiculously beneficial. He runs, let me check if he's running them this game, cooldown per level blue runes on Ezreal. Because he is all about hitting the most powerful power spike when he does Trinity Force and Muramana Transform at the same time with his cooldown boots, because he'll be close to 40% CDR with as much damage as possible and just look to take over the game. Before that point, he's not that strong. Stacking up his tier, Sheen for last hits, cooldown per level runes haven't really kicked in yet. So the fact that he got a kill is so beneficial for CLG in the long run.
Definitely takes a different dynamic of play to be safe but aggressive in that lull of damage. And know what you can and can't do. They go ahead and get a nice steal. Dominate not having too good of a game towards his buffs, with that first one really being stolen out. The ultimate still going to count very big for him. We got to see this combination coming in. Quas and Dominate, but the ultimate from Zion and Xmithy as well. Very game-changing ults to come from those two, starting off these fights.
Yeah, and Team Liquid tried to sacrifice lane pressure for carry farm and levels. But Piglet is only one level ahead of Doublelift and down in CS, plus Team Liquid has nothing to show for it. It was by far a better early game from CLG, which is somewhat to be expected. Lane swapping against a Hecarim is something we knew Hecarim wasn't going to deal super well with because Team Liquid prioritized farm. Quas is now up in CS over Zion Spartan. Piglet is at least up in levels, and they could still theoretically transition into a fight. Maybe this gank from Dominate will try and turn something. Whoa, Afromu's so low.
Afromu gets a calling to the backside. A little bit of massage there. And blows the flash as well. Deja vu from last game. Quas putting on the pressure towards the bottom side. And Team Liquid going to lose the horse in the bot here. Oh, no! Oh, he gets it! Oh, incredible! Quas comes up huge!
Everything just changed right there, Riv, because the experience advantages that Team Liquid barely had, that CLG just needed to farm out until they were gone, were exposed in both those lanes. Piglet being level 7 after not having ultimate yet, 1 kill. Quas out-dueling an under-leveled Zion Spartan, level 5 to level 6, changed. Gold even, turret traded, Team Liquid will actually be leading.
Whew.
Oh, can you get it? One more.
Oh,
one more.
Yeah.
Is he dead now?
Wind does not do that much damage.
Oh, Piglet doesn't want to expose himself.
No, he doesn't. Stop. Go back. Piglet, go back.
He exposed himself.
There's the pressure. Level 5.
Hecarim will be here. Hecarim will be here.
That's going to be the hit. Here comes Quas once again. He just came back even bigger. He's got the phage to stick to Afromu. Now another teleport coming in from Zion Spartan to stop this. Just like the other games, fight after fight here in the early part.
Yeah, really tense situations. These guys not wanting to get out-traded. And the gank there, oh man. Just because X-Special wanted to finish that turret, that's what led to all that trading. I Will Dominate does have his ultimate, but because Piglet is out of mana, it would not be wise.
Both teams seem to have kind of this early game down. How to stop it, how to get the kills that they want. Really playing well for both sides. Hemo play goes down. A few more transfusions. That should be a dead Link. The blue buff going over to Phoenix. He flashes out, and he gets the play as he turns around for the no-look.
Things like this happening was just so unexpected coming into the series. Think of the way Team Liquid has got their kills this game.
Yeah.
Piglet, 2v2 kill against Doublelift Afro. Quas, solo kill Zion Spartan. Phoenix, solo kill Link.
Yep.
CLG is a better strategic team and honestly had looked better individually for most of the season. If you're looking at this matchup holistically, coming into this series, number 6 seed versus number 3 seed, it was very hard to find a way that Team Liquid wins this. CLG was better at lane swapping. if you looked at the matchups and the way players had performed CS-wise and all those other things, even if we didn't see lane swaps, it looked like CLG would be better in that too.
Yep.
More wins on the season. Team Liquid had all those issues swapping Piglet around with Keith. The majority of the games with Piglet were not victories.
Right.
You're thinking, they're not going to win
The
this one
stats
against
came from
CLG.
Keith.
But the one thing that has changed these matchups is CLG in playoffs, the X factor that does, and Team Liquid team fighting. Because that's been the biggest thing. Team Liquid has copied CLG's lane swaps as much as possible, trying to minimize trades with better team fighting compositions, and then they're forcing CLG to make plays in high-pressure, nervous situations. And it's actually working out for them very well. You can see the performance of CLG players individually is not strong right now, Rib, because all 3 of their lanes died in head-to-head matchups.
What we're also not seeing in these lane swaps is when Aframu used to be that first guy to mid, the first guy catching the guy lane swapping with Morgana, which they're banning, or Thresh, something that they would use to start the game off early.
You're absolutely right about that. They still have comfort picks to a certain extent, but it's a different kind of comfort picks there. This is the closest I've seen CLG to being a true CLG composition, but it might be too late. Maybe they're too impacted by those first 2 matches.
Can't even go on aggressive onto Piglet there without too much vision around them, already being surrounded here in the bottom lane. Gotta be careful how long this takes. Xmithy is just on the wing. A little bit of a lull in aggression there. We did see Team Liquid able to grab a dragon with really no contest. There's the ultimate. They're going on the hunt. Is it actually double if it goes down? He puts the spell shield on, but the auto attack still connects from Piglet, and that ultimate is just in defense. Very low mana for Aframu. They can't do much here.
Yeah, it's tricky there. Even items, but Lucian against Sivir, if he gets the distance closed, can be very, very potent.
Looks like that's going to be theirs.
It is a tank Jarvan, Cinderhulk on Xmithy.
Right.
So somewhat to be expected if you're going to be playing Jarvan on this patch. Needed to have that early game impact right now, though. And Quas, now that he's 1-on-1 against Sound Spartan and not behind, can continue this farming.
You said, Jat, once you get a few kills on the horse, you're going to be able to 1v1 that lane pretty hard. Scion Spartan just sitting on that Seeker's arm guard now, and not really that much gold either.
The lanes in this game are snowballing out of control, too. 20 CS advantage for Phoenix, 30 CS for Quas, and for the first time this series, Piglet a CS advantage over Doublelift.
That's something big to see. Doublelift maintained pretty much all year the highest CS in the early part of the game, and Piglet was one of the last. Albeit he didn't have as many games to play, he's definitely showing up now, and Phoenix looking to show up in the mid lane. He actually is just dancing around this one, and he may have saved it in just enough time, Sanguine Blood, just to get out of the last bit.
That's the value of having an incredibly versatile mid laner and using that pick last in the draft. He is
and he played that so cool.
Manhandling that right now. Saved his pool of blood until Aframu was going to combo him. That's actually why you saw Aframu headbutt pulverize the ground. Because the combo with Alistair is headbutt pulverize, but the pool of blood became untargetable, so he just pressed WQ. There was no target for the W, therefore he queued the ground. Phoenix really playing well. Team Liquid has been calling him the best player in the LCS in scrims, but it's never manifested on the LCS stage. Maybe it's starting to happen here against Link.
Well, he's definitely found a way to shake off that pressure. We saw it affecting him a little earlier in the season, but he has shown up in that mid lane with his versatility and his gameplay today. That 1v1 versus Link definitely relieved a lot of pressure for the rest of the map, and we saw the other lanes getting kills of their own. Phoenix here as a Vladimir, probably going to take the turret down before Ezreal can take that other mid lane down. Not something you see every day.
You're right.
A lot of push, but not a lot of turret pressure there.
Yeah. And CLG is hoping to hit their power spikes because there is an immense amount of pressure on them in this early game. It's a switch of actually what we've seen in the other matches. Link needs to finish his Trinity Force. Doublelift needs to finish his Infinity Edge and go for Ghostblade. Same build in all 3 games. And CLG can't take fights before then. Otherwise, I feel like they will get destroyed. There will be a very small window when Link is powerful that CLG might have the strength to take down this Team Liquid team.
And as well, you have to think Team Liquid sees that window as well, right? That's a Muramana trying to charge up. Link's doing his damnedest. He's pretty much casting every spell he
got the tier super early because Link actually had first blood in this game. So he is already at 500 bonus mana of the 750. And he just doesn't have enough gold for the Trinity Force. He needs to farm about another 1100 for that. He'll still hit that power spike pretty early.
Yeah, he will. Probably around 20, 21 minutes. You should
Around
see
there.
that. 3K gold lead here for Team Liquid. This seems to be the magic number in the mid game that teams can spread on each other. But it seems like if they win, if the team that has that 3K gold lead wins a fight at this point, it just snowballs out of control. So it's up to CLG now to figure out a way in. Link still using that blue buff as much as possible. The double sight stone is now up for CLG, for Smithy and Afromu as they start to get the picks that they want. Try to get the picks, I should say.
Phoenix entering split push Vladimir mode as well.
Yeah.
Something.
Becomes such a menace.
Oh yeah. Zonya's already completed against double AP this early on into the game.
It's pretty incredible to see Team Liquid come out and do this, especially in a quarterfinal matchup. Dominate said the best of 5 is something that favors them, but they've shown that this seems like it should have been happening all year with this point.
Yeah, they won the first game. I mean, they'd win a best of 1 today.
Yeah.
Although game 1 was probably the closest of the 3. It is progressing throughout this series of being more and more in the favor of Team Liquid. This game is incredibly close to being out of the hands of CLG. If they catch Team Liquid in a split push mistake here. Team Liquid is actually doing the 1-3-1 right here that CLG was doing in game 1. Vladimir on one side, it's not a Twisted Fate, but it is a teleporting Hecarim on the other side, still able to join fights at a moment's notice if necessary. But the critical difference here is maybe the 1-3-1 team is actually better in team fights for Team Liquid. If they can do that, there's nothing CLG can do aside from Team Liquid themselves.
Oh, 13 to a 10 and an 8 in the bottom lane. It's just the headbutt pulverize that they can get down to try and stop what's happening here. It's one of those games, though, that we have not yet seen that 5v5. We haven't seen the Xmithie and the Zion Spartan combination of Jarvan Rumble. There's still a good amount to happen here. See if Team Liquid can assess that fight once it happens. Looks like this uncontested dragon once again. They may even try to kill Link before this happens, or at least make sure that lane is pushed.
Yep, they don't want to give up any turret trades either.
I like this.
Team Liquid's playing very well right now. They were able to take CLG down in the lane, and CLG has been amazing this season at playing from ahead based on early game advantages. But take that away from them, since they have not been a tremendous team fighting team, and you see a very different Team CLG.
Trying to set up defense in their own jungle. Liquid, with that second dragon now, continues to gain confidence and control over this game. Definitely giving Piglet a lot more freedom here to gain farm, grab what he wants, and do things by himself. See Spartan trying to act on Quas here. Not too much damage can come from him, and Glacial Shroud, Phage, as well as that seal close to that Triforce for Quas. 122 to 104 there. May just back to make sure he does not go down. Very smart play here by Quas, reading the map. Doesn't even have too many wards up there.
Link just needs a little bit more farm as well to hit his Trinity Force. And then it's time for CLG to make plays. I think he's going back and buying that right now. What a turnaround for Team Liquid, though, if they can actually win this match. To 3-0 CLG in back-to-back years in the playoffs is insane, especially with the tumultuous up and down season Team Liquid had between Piglet and Keith, sticking with Piglet as well through all the defeats.
Yeah.
And then Piglet has played extremely well this series. We can pick on the mistakes that CLG has made, Xmithie missing Sejuani ultimates and Link.
Right.
Teleporting in the wrong places as Twisted Fate. But Piglet has been crushing it here. Generally playing safe, tons of kills on Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
This match, solo kill onto Afromu while freezing a lane, which was a risky move. You're putting all your eggs in that AD carry basket at that point. Quas goes crazy on his Zion Spartan, though.
Yeah, keeps still going crazy as well. Very, very low. Zion thought he had a 1v1 for himself. He's been down all game, so he's itching to get something back, but it costs him his life. The True Shot Barrage is going to miss Quas on the top side, and that only gives up his position.
This is where Link is strong, if he can get some fights off, but it's a 1v3 with Afromu coming in. They're still looking to maybe make a play because they're low.
He's only 40 points off of getting that Mirror Mana up. A big burst of damage to get these pokes in, but the team now doesn't have Zion. We still aren't getting that 5v5 from CLG. Team Liquid keeps them spread thin, and Phoenix is still having a field day here by himself in the bottom lane, and nobody's going to be there to contest.
They're going to try and push his mid lane. Sejuani's in the Wraith Pit, though. Might ult.
Over the wall, Xmithy hits, he makes sure he's point blank range. Xmithy's forced to go in. Remember, Rumble Alti's not there. Dominate taking shots from Doublelift. The double AD comp from the back line is able to put out the pressure. The DPS there coming in from Link as he hits one last Mystic shot.
This is a 5v4 for CLG. They have to make this count because every second they are in mid lane, they are losing pressure elsewhere on the map.
When you have enough time for Vlad to push, you know anything else is taking way too long. Finally dropping that mid turret. They look to keep the pressure on, but we're going to get it back from Phoenix here.
Muramana transformed onto Leak. Blue buff up. He is a one-man wrecking crew right now. Afro with the CC.
They can easily kill him. A few more shots. The Mystic shot didn't hit for Link. Too many minions. They should be able to get some damage on the turret. All that has been hit is done. They back off of that. So pressure from CLG means they are still ready to go hard in these fights.
Yeah, they needed to get more out of that trade, though. We knew that was the one tiny moment they had there. And the best they get is a turret trade and a 1-for-1 kill trade in a 4v5 right now. Team Liquid gonna look to retake some control in this game. They know they have advantages in most places. Yes, Link just hit his power spike, but he's 3 levels behind Phoenix's Vladimir right now.
Makes things quite...
And they find him.
That Arcane Shield. All right, over the wall. He is fine. But they are losing more and more pressure every time this happens.
Zion
True
Spartan
Shot
does not
Barrage
have
is down. You got a little bit of damage. Youmuu's and Infinity Edge from your AD carry, as well as Hecarim with that Triforce. It's either a very good fight with their ultimates up, or they are going to stick this.
An incredibly risky call. Zion Spartan is almost in ultimate range. They're peeling for a fight.
Afro Moo may not even be able to ult. His ult is down. Why would you be a front line of the Baron fight? Phoenix and the rest of the team is going to try to take this, and they are, CLG rather, is running for the hills. Xmithy trying to go over the wall, maybe a little bit more peel here for Link as they try to assess the fight. He goes back in. He gets popped. There it is. He locks down the prison. The cuffs are on Counter Logic Gaming, and Doublelift's the only one that's able to stay far enough away to escape.
The patience there from I Will Dominate Sejuani. We know that that's a very hard ultimate to pull off, but even when CLG was re-engaged, he waited for the window. They pop them, they bait the Baron 25 minutes into the game, and this might be the fight that puts Team Liquid into semifinals.
So many split-second decisions that you wish they could have been changed or could have been the right one had something else happened.
Yeah, Aframu had his ultimate down from before. Team Liquid knows that. They throw everything on him. Zion Spartan's ultimate is also not in a very good place because they did not synchronize their initiation right here. And Link is in the back of the fight because he had just recalled off. Here, though, CLG thinks they can turn. But why? Why can they turn this? They should be counting the Sejuani ultimate. They know that that spell is still up. It hits 2 squishy targets.
Oof.
The Hecarim ult was also still up. All the major cooldowns that you need to track as a team fighting team were not tracked there. CLG re-engaged when they should not have. They could have stopped the Baron. They could have shot, but they didn't, and it cost them the fight and the Baron.
A lot of, or a very big lack of vision, I should say, in that area for CLG to re-engage. The entire team of Team Liquid was in the Fog of War. It leads to another fight for Team Liquid, and now chat, an 8,000 gold lead. Pop that up even more to 9,000, and Doublelift is on the ground. He cannot do much. A 1-1-2 Doublelift to Piglets 5-0-2.
If you've been watching since the start of the day, you saw Piglet say the winner of the first game in this series could very well just take the whole thing 3-0 because he knows himself and he knows Doublelift because they are very similar. Once you lose the first game with this much pressure on you, you think you are ruined, and that's what Piglet said himself. Now with Baron buff, they're looking for a 25-minute inhibitor.
It sure doesn't help the swing of the emotions when you're on the losing end. It's going to go down fast. CLG, they are just taking Polaroids as it happens. They don't have the aggression to fight back against Counter Logic Gaming, and CLG now with their hands pretty much tied behind their backs are trying to fight back here. They finally get a bit of a cut on the rope. They are going to be able to take down Xmithy. Team Liquid looking for the finalizing kills. The passive shot coming in from Piglet gets a 6-0-2 for him, and they know it may be too much to end the game, so they play it calm, cool, and collected and head for the next turret.
And Phoenix is still alive after all of that. It looked like Team Liquid might have been overextending, but it was fine. They're so far ahead of CLG at this point. 10,000 gold.
Only died 3 times coming into this quarterfinal third game matchup. Very well played, organized in their fights, and the fights they're taking as well.
Every successive game has been more in the favor of Team Liquid from game 1 until 3.
Dominate said it favors them.
Ezreal doesn't even steal the Dragon, unfortunately. Now 3 Dragons to 0, 13 kills to 3. Looking at this, Doublelift trying to get as much farm and clear the wave before they can become Baron empowered, but Piglet knows Ghostblade plus the culling was enough, and that's what started that entire snowball through.
Just a little too relaxed there. Those are the mistakes that are made when you're not thinking completely of the mini-map, the entire situation of the game. And I'm sure CLG is really dealing with a lot of pressure right now. They've got to make plays. You can see the Elixir of Wrath now coming out onto Link for some last bit damage he hopes will make the difference in the fight.
Exactly. They're doing everything they can to not let this snowball complete, but it's an avalanche right now for them, and there's not much you can do to get out of that as a team. They have a Leandries.
It's an avalanche you didn't expect either from anywhere, right? You would have expected a way more consistent game. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but we're not going to get toppled over. But when you get toppled over and you weren't even ready for that, you're already 4 steps behind trying to fix the problems.
And CLG going back to a tried and true double AD composition.
That's right.
Where Link had first blood. CLG had the start they wanted for this game. But it's just appeared that Team Liquid had such great advantages in the lane. Now Doublelift, no ultimate. Team Liquid,
wow, with
the middle inhibitor already down, up 2-0 in the series, 28 minutes in. Quas continuing the chase, he's in the base!
Whoa, no! He got the auto attack bump on, he had to be in range for that. Amazing plays from Quas. He did it once in the bottom lane before. He makes another play by himself here towards the end of the game. Only 30 minutes in. Team Liquid keeping it on par with that last game time to take down CLG's Nexus, and they are very close to putting on the final touches.
Doublelift didn't close the door after using the base gate. I'm sorry.
What, do you live in a barn?
Yeah, honestly, Hecarim just using his E mini dash to get through the base gate that he should not.
The Hecarim on the home guards.
Oh, he's coming in.
Come on, here he goes. Quas is into the fight. Oh, he gets bumped out by the cow. He says, we live on the farm together. I know how you play. Gets him out of that one. Doublelift still down, trying to get back into this fight from that previous takedown, and him being down has now cost another inhibitor turret. Now the inhibitor, Smithy, he walks into the fight, telegraphing this fight. He will go down through the pressure and the damage that Team Liquid can put out here. It's going to be the flash in, however, from Dominate. Squeaks out alive on the Poro as well. CLG's falling inside their base for what could be the final push here from Team Liquid. The first quarterfinal matchup being swept in 3 games. Nobody would have thought as the first Nexus turret goes down.
2 down on CLG. Team Liquid's low. CLG going to try desperately to push them out of the base, but this may be all but over, Riv.
They do give them a little bit of breathing room, Jap, but it's only going to be so long. They're just crushing and stepping on the oxygen tank of Counter Logic Gaming. Ooh, the true shot barrage does get Dominate. That's 40 seconds of pressure they have to work with, but they need like 5 minutes to get back for this one.
They
this
need
is rough.
30 minutes to get back in this one. The painful last few minutes of CLG's season may be what the end of this game turns into.
Yeah.
They are down so much. They are already down in the series. The team fighting, you can see how reckless Team Liquid can be in these fights and still not really get meaningfully punished. 6-0 on Piglet. Yeah. Phoenix is a monster this game on Vladimir after solo killing Link once. Even Nye will dominate Sejuani. Good patience on that champion, something he did not have last week, even just the 1 week of practice. I will dominate through so many early ultimates. Quas is being very mean to Doublelift. Very, very rude. Oh, heals! Oh, another heal!
God. Look at, and you know, when Team Liquid's laughing about a kill that got away, they are sitting in a really nice position.
They really are. Just watch, that is the turnaround to the game, and Team Liquid loses the next 3.
Oh my God.
Why are we laughing?
Doublelift comes back and gets a pentakill. Just everything. Fights them all. So wards all the way down middle, allowing Team Liquid to know what the deal is here. Link stepping out to try and get some damage. The last Whisper is not really finished for him, and he's already facing quite a bit of armor, so he's going to be hitting brick walls here. Oh. Doublelift down to about 75% HP, or rather 25% HP, 75 down.
Team Liquid trying to split push here. Hecarim trying to get the open inhibitor. Team Liquid going to pressure this bottom turret. What a difference a week makes. Team Liquid looks like a completely different team, as does CLG.
Absolutely ridiculous. There's a second inhibitor down. Only one more stands. Very much in a Counter Logic-esque fashion, Team Liquid is making sure to take down everything in the base, everything they can get before taking out Counter Logic Gaming here. Also playing it very safe and going on the same calls. The communication is really there for them. Can't wait to hear maybe a bike check.
It's a Baron right here.
Oh,
They're hoping for a steal.
The True Shot Barrage only gives vision. It's
Team
not
Liquid should
that much
peel for
length.
this fight. Yep, they're just going to kill Xmithy.
Perfectly done.
And keep fighting.
Communication is there for the team. The peel on it as well. Right through that damage reduction on the ultimate. You can tell how fed Piglet is now. 8-0-4 with Phoenix being 4-0-5 coming in. Here comes Quas once again on the fight. Link gets to the other side, but he onslaughts right over the wall. Zion Spartan's going to be the next one. He's trying to break the heavens, but it looks like Heat will be going down here. If they don't want him, they want the Nexus. They're going to be able to get that. It's just Zion Spartan and Quas to duke it out for the rest of the fight, and he's buying all the time that he can. And that's not a lot of time. Liquid moves in for the Nexus.
This could be it, Rivet. Pretty much is. Everybody dead. Team Liquid 3-0 on CLG. 2 playoffs in a row.
21-4, another 30-minute game for Team Liquid as they figured out Chronologic Gaming inside and out. A textbook from start to finish in a best-of-5 series here for our first quarterfinal. And as they take a moment to get a few more kills, Team Liquid takes down Chronologic Gaming to move on.
And there's the excitement you're used to seeing from I Will Dominate after a victory. Team Liquid is back. The team that people expected after the first week of the season that was first place in the North American LCS. 2-0, 3-0 today, and move on to the semi-finals.
What a showing from Team Liquid. Very happy with that performance all around from the fans. Steve Aronset as well. Very happy. Give the coach a hug as well. What a play from these guys. Counterlogic Gaming to come in, tried so many different things, and Team Liquid was able to organize.
Team Liquid ran 3 distinct different team compositions in this series. Throughout the season, it seemed like Team Liquid was struggling to find that identity. What were the picks and the strategies they wanted? Would they focus farm onto Quas? Would they allow Dominate to farm more? How can they play with Piglet in this team who is so demanding as an AD carry? They may have finally figured it out. Run some compositions around protecting him, run others where Quas can be on a carry, stay unpredictable.
Very good choice for them indeed. Having Quas on such a versatile champion, really helping the team. Other teams can't really focus on that. You got to focus on banning other things. But when Team Liquid kept changing up the way they played, that's what started to come back for them. Chronologic Gaming as well. The Morgana bans all the time. Definitely a question that needs to be answered. Something that they had in their mind that would work into their playstyle. But it seemed that it was just, they had 2 bans all the time almost.
There will be a substantial amount of people looking at this series in retrospect and trying to figure out what CLG should have done, what could they have done better, how do they play better, what mistakes did they make in game.
Right.
And you better believe, like, that is just going to happen. CLG is such a big brand here in the North American LCS, and again, they have undershot expectations in the playoffs.
They will be thinking about that. Team Liquid will be thinking about Cloud9 now.
Yeah, it's so funny. This is what happened last year in the playoffs. The second round matchup was Curse versus Cloud9.
That's
after
right.
CLG had been 3-0'd. Everything changes, yet everything remains the same for these teams. Unbelievable.
A definite shock for them as well. Chronologic Gaming did not expect that. Teams will come in saying there's a chance, you know, that there's faltered there, but this was completely unexpected, especially a 3-0, a game lost 3-2 is something that happens. You've given your all, you've left it on the field, but to walk away with that means, you know, what happened?
I mean,
what have we?
The regular season for CLG, 12-6, spending the majority of the season in second place, having 2 opportunities to take first place against TSM, falling in those high-pressure games during the regular season. Never finding those victories in high-pressure situations that could give them the confidence to take it into the playoffs. And as soon as they lost that incredibly close Game 1 against Team Liquid, right downhill. That team tilted again, which really has to hurt them.
And I'm very surprised at how Team Liquid adjusted, came back to, and dealt with the pressure all season long. On a personal level for Piglet and on a team level as well.
This is what happens in playoffs. Who steps up? Who can play to a new level? For CLG, they played worse than their regular season performance. For Team Liquid, they played substantially better. They played like there
Amazing.
wasn't pressure on them for the most part. They were not making those mistakes, and they were making the plays.
Backs against the wall, and they seem to know what to do. Well, right now we've got Freak at the telestrator to help us break down Team Liquid's 3-0 quarterfinal sweep.
Thank you very much, Riv. Great cast in the day, and I want to talk about some of the individual contributors here of Team Liquid, because overall, the entire team played an amazing series overall, and a player I want to highlight is their mid laner, Phoenix, who finally rises from the ashes of a mediocre season and puts on a performance here in this game. I want to pull up a solo kill he has on Link, and let's just talk about the mechanics of how Phoenix gets his turret dive. So first of all, two things I want to preface with. Phoenix hits level 9. This is the big Vladimir power spike. He's got a 4-second cooldown Q. Life is glorious. Link also, when he plays this mid lane AD Ezreal, runs CDR per level glyphs. He has no magic resist at all. And at this point, the item builds are actually Vampire accepted for Phoenix and Tyrannisheen for Link. So combat stats not very good with Link either. The last thing to point out is how Link plays on the turret range, which is going to be about that big, roughly the range there. And just sort of watch how Phoenix plays the clip. So let's actually roll it out and just watch Phoenix's play. So first, Link plays aggressively, which he shouldn't do because he won't win this fight. Half health from a QE, and he's like, okay, I'm going to kill him. Low cooldown Q, ghost in turret range, pops it with the pool. Link's too low now. He pops heal and flash to get away, but there's no way he's going to survive Phoenix at this point. Right, easy EQ to get away. Good tracking by Phoenix to chase him down, to flash to stay in range. That's definitely really, really great plays overall. But honestly, like, the difficulty is, you know, Link misplayed it. He played aggressively in a matchup he couldn't play aggressively in anymore because of being out leveled. And it was a great play by Phoenix. Overall, a very strong showing by Team Liquid, of course. The 3-0 individual contributions really high from all the players here. But for now, we're going to send it off to Dash to talk to some of those winning players on Team Liquid.
Thank you, Freak. I'm joined by Liquid's X-Special and Dominate. And guys, 3-0 victory over CLG, coming in red hot into the playoffs here. Dominate, how does it feel to come out with such a dominating victory?
It feels really good being able to win a series like this. I mean, they've had a much better regular season than us, so I feel like we were kind of the underdogs coming in, but historically we always perform really well against CLG, and we were able to take it home 3-0, which was a big confidence boost going into the next round.
And X-Special, we've been asking ourselves all day, where was this Team Liquid for the entire regular season, and what happened in the last week that allowed you guys to come out so strong right now?
So something I've said a lot was that I felt like our team was really good, but there was little things off, and I felt like once everything clicked into place, the whole puzzle would come through. And once that one puzzle was missing, things wouldn't go right. And that's pretty much what happened. We saw glimpses of hope throughout the season, but because this thing would be off or this another thing would be off, we would just often lose a lead or throw early game, and we often lose really badly. But now that everything's in place, you know, hopefully these wins are gonna really mean that we win against C9 as well. But I remember last year, same exact situation actually, but we were 4th place and then we lost to C9. We got blown out 0-3 at playoffs, and we don't want that to repeat.
All right, so Dominic, we talk about this missing puzzle piece and what was the actual factor that goes into, you know, everything coming to fruition. So was it communication? Was it synergy within the team? Was it just mechanical play individually across all the board? You know, what were the actual factors that, you know, we can attribute to that missing link?
Personally, I think it was communication. I think that was the biggest thing that we changed in the last week. We would have some problems with like when we would take turret, when we wouldn't take turret, stuff like that. And now I felt like we were all really working together, and when we came to a decision, everyone was on board. It wasn't like 1 against 3 or something. It was like, okay, let's figure out the problem. Once the problem was figured out, we're going to act on it, and we could just execute. And I think that we're a really strong mechanical team, so if we have like the strategy there and we have the good mindset, I think we should be able to win a lot of these games.
Yeah, and the cohesion there really showcased itself in the fact that you guys came into all 3 games with a very specific team comp in mind, right? They all had very specific goals and purposes, so special. Whereas the rest of the season, we've been handing criticism out for the fact that you guys lacked an identity when it came to what you wanted to do during the game. You guys landed on 3 different identities here and executed them properly. What allowed you to do that?
Well, throughout the season, a best out of 1 game isn't going to help us showcase our team comps. You only get to play 1. I mean, you don't know if we have 5 or we have 2 or we have 1. But in a best out of 5, we can showcase anything we want, and we have, you know, potentially 5 games to showcase all our different team comps. And that's really where our pick and ban shine is, because we play a lot of champions, and that means that we have a lot of team comps, and there's plenty of stuff we haven't played yet. So we're like a wild card team. In a best out of 1, maybe we can't shine, but in a best out of 5, I think we're definitely shining.
Absolutely. And Piglet had said in a video at the beginning of the day that he felt the team that won the first game was going to win the whole series. I mean, clearly that's the case. But Dominic, did you feel that so much of it hinged on how the result of the first game went?
I think it was a really tough game for them to lose because they had a pretty big edge. Like I couldn't tell exactly what the goldie was because I was playing, but it felt like maybe like 3 or 4K at a point because they had so many turrets on us. And since we were able to come back from that and win team fights, I think it kind of like they didn't really know what team comps were best because obviously the first game you're going to play your strongest team comp or the one that you think is best blind into anything. And when they lost that game, I think they started doubting what team comps they ran best. And then they ended up picking Vladimir a lot throughout the series, and they kind of ended up like stopping. Like when they came into the series, they thought it was a first pick worthy champion, and then they didn't even pick it in the last game. So I think it was just it was just a series that when you lose the first game, it kind of just mentally weighs on you throughout. It's like, okay, did we practice the optimal things? Do we have the right strategies? And I think that maybe the 5.5, 5.6 patch hurt them a little bit. I know that they like to favor a lot of bruisers, the Vi, the Lee Sin, the Jarvan, and all those champions are kind of weaker now, and tank junglers are stronger, and I don't know if they adapted to that as well as they should have.
And you talk about some individual play a little bit, and everyone on Team Liquid definitely stepped up. But as Freak mentioned, Phoenix, we've heard behind the scenes how great of a player he is in scrims, that he dominates everyone in lane. And we finally saw it happen out here on the stage and in one of the most high pressure situations that he's played in. So, especially just, talk to me a little bit about that. What was his mindset coming in? Did he come in with, any kind of hesitancy, or was he like rearing to go, ready to show off?
It's hard to say. I think Phoenix is a really good player. We've always thought that. And the issue is that he wasn't able to bring it to LCS. And obviously today he showed off pretty hard. I mean, he styled on people. It was pretty crazy. We were all shocked. We were like, damn, this guy's finally going off just like we expected him to. And I think this is a huge confidence booster. And hopefully, he can carry this into the future games. And I think that was just one of his, he just finally broke out of his shell.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're looking at the future games now because he is going to have to carry that through, but the whole team in general will have to. And you already touched a little bit on that C9 matchup, but Dominate, I want to get your thoughts as to what the team now needs to do with this great first win under their belt to, look towards that C9 matchup.
I think we just need to kind of readjust our pick ban to the C9 style. The C9 plays a lot differently than CLG, for example. They play a lot of like Nidalee jungle and stuff like that. A lot more carry junglers and less bruiser champions. So I don't really expect them to pick much like Vi, Lee Sin, or probably Vi, but no Lee Sin, no Jarvan. Like that's not Meteos' style. So I think that for us, it's just we have to readjust our pick ban to fit what they do best. And since we do have like a variety of comps we can play, we have to be able to choose which ones are best. We don't necessarily want to play into one of C9's best comps. I mean, they look really good with like their Rumble, Zed, Nidalee comp that they practice so much. Those are all like signature champions for their team. I think that if we just have like a game where we are able to play like on even footing, I think that we'll do a lot better than if we try to like cater to their style and play exactly what they do. And
especially, do you feel that being as diverse now as you guys are in your champion pool, I mean, we've seen it with Quas in the top lane playing just an extraordinary number of champions, now Phoenix in the mid lane, and, and across all roles, really. Do you feel like having that ability to play as many different team comps as you guys do is going to give you an advantage against a team like Cloud9, who does kind of tunnel in on those very specific team comps where they have a carry jungler and things like that, and they can't branch out so far as you guys can?
I definitely say that if you can play more champions, it's definitely better. But to say that C9, would be better against C9 or something like that, I'm not too sure, because the comps they play, maybe it's few, maybe it's only 1 or 2, but they play them extremely well. So maybe if we ban them out, then we can get an advantage. But honestly, it's going to be up to what we decide to play and how our team comp stacks against theirs, and if we can find the right counter picks. And it's up to our picks and bans, which I think is fine. I think it's really good. And I think in the best of 5, even if we lose a game or 2, we can adjust and ban or pick accordingly.
All right, well, gentlemen, before we go, I want to get your thoughts on tomorrow's matchup between Team Impulse and Gravity. How do you think that series is going to go?
I personally, my heart wants to go with Gravity, obviously, because those are all my friends. But I think Tip's style is really good against Gravity's. Like in the regular season, they beat them twice, and both of the games were actually kind of blowouts. I think Rush went off in both of them, and I think that their style is really good against Gravity. So I want Gravity to win, but I don't know if they'll be able to deal with the style that Team Impulse plays.
Any thoughts to add?
Well, last time against a teammate Gravity game, I said Gravity was going to lose. So this time, I'm going to say Lena win. We believe in our former sister team, and they can definitely pull off upset as they've been doing this whole season. So I'm not going to doubt on them now.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Well, gentlemen, I want to congratulate you on your 3-0 sweep there. It was definitely entertaining to watch and wish you the best of luck in your preparation for your match against Cloud9. Now, for some final thoughts on the series, we're going back to the caster desk to check in with the guys.
Thank you very much, Dash. And I think what this has definitely shown us is this proves that it's anybody's game right now. The end of the split were a lot of late game surges. It wasn't a season where everybody played each other 4 times and had time to figure it out and do your homework. And I think that really showed here with a week of time to just do something else. Team Liquid came out fairly on top.
Yeah, playoffs are a whole new ballgame.
Yep.
It's a completely different set of pressures. It's a completely different format. You're no longer in best of 1s. You're in best of 5s. Some players perform better under pressure. And also, some players and teams play better on specific patches.
That's very true.
You're no longer dealing with one team, you're no longer dealing with one game per day, 2 different teams per week. You're dealing with one team 5 games in a row. So depending on the matchup, it can really do some strange things into each other's champion pools. And that's one of the reasons Team Liquid came out today. Dominate was saying that just on the desk. They played the tank junglers very well.
Right.
They team fought better. And the matchup between those two teams, as went in the regular season, as went last playoffs, is in the favor of Team Liquid.
And I have to expect that Meteos will take that as well. We saw just recently last week in 5.5, he was still going hard on Vi, playing that Nidalee, trying to be aggressive. So does he as well go to those tank junglers? Does C9's fight squad become that much more hard to skirmish with? Because that's what those guys excel is in fighting.
Exactly. The rest of the playoffs become really exciting. Them having to play Cloud9 again, it's tricky, right? Because even though Team Liquid has the head-to-head matchup clearly against CLG, they do not have the same level of confidence against Cloud9. That is a team that has crushed them historically. Pretty much every year in the playoffs, those are the guys that knock them out. It's going to be tough for them.
Well, it has been diversity for these teams to win, but it's also been a crutch for some of the teams, and we'll see how the rest of this quarterfinals and playoffs play out. To close out our day's coverage, we're going to throw it back to our guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you, Riv. And gentlemen, we heard their final thoughts on the day. I want to get your final thoughts.
Thank God for Team Liquid finally showing up at the end here. The road was very long. Thankfully, it was only 10 weeks long and not 11, or they wouldn't have made it this far. Yeah, it was weird because they looked so damn good with Keith, and you're like, why would adding a mechanically better AD carry make your team worse? And it just did for like 12 games. And then finally they figure it out, and you talked to them on the interview, Dom and especially saying, yeah, we just had to fix communication. We had to finally figure out how the shot calling is supposed to work. And okay, Liquid look pretty good now. Piglet obviously looks amazing because he was supposed to in the start, but it's finally gelled here, and now I want to see how far Liquid goes.
Yeah, the big thing with them was that communication. The bot lane synergy seems to be coming together. The fact that they were able to just make individual plays, too. Like that third game where they were individually outplaying, not a whole lot of synergy required there when you're solo killing the enemy lane. This team now has beaten 5 games in a row, 7 games in a row, actually, against CLG.
It'd be 8.
It'd be 8? Yes,
Yeah,
it is 8
3,
now.
right?
It
It was
is 8
3-0,
now. 7
2-0,
before,
3-0.
when I was thinking about it. It's 8 now in a row. They just have their number. They just seem to have just CLG down. Their style seems really good against them. And the fact that the whole season they looked like, they were Liquid the entire time. Now they look like Team Liquid.
Yep.
They really came together at the end there. And it's really good to watch because Piglet was getting a lot of flack for his play, and the fact that people are like, there's this intangible here that we can't get. It's synergy. It takes a long time. The communication, he can't just instantly be like, Xpecial and I understand each other. But then they come together as a team, and they keep the parts that were still good about it, which I think is the best part, because Quas is still doing things in the top lane. Dominate is still that jungler who can step up to a carry role. He has adjusted his style. It wasn't smooth at first, but it finally clicked.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid should rename to Team Steam because they're on fire right now.
Perfect. All right. Well,
That's all I wanted.
the entire team collectively did step up today, but there was one player that stood out and had a huge impact for his team. That was, of course, Team Liquid's mid laner, Phoenix.
Man, Phoenix was so great to watch. Pulled out 3 different champions, pulled out the Urgot, pulled bans afterwards, played Vlad, crushed Link. It was great. This guy played so absolutely amazingly. He got the individual outplays as well. He won his lane. It was great.
Yeah, the best thing about Phoenix is that he doesn't just open up his team in champion select with these crazy picks that he just picks up very quickly and the style behind them, is that he also opens up the map in the game. The solo kill that he got on Link was really big for them, and the fact that he beat Link in CS all 3 games, and even got a solo kill game 1, 2v1 as Urgot, just opens the map for them and allows Dominate to make more aggressive moves in the jungle.
I love that point about him opening the map up because he does it too in a way that he's drawing so much jungle pressure, right? As you mentioned, like the constant 2v1 mid allows his side lanes to have so much more freedom. Anyway, fantastic play there by Phoenix. We're so happy that he decided to show up, as it has been kind of a myth, up until today. Anyway, with Team Liquid's win, let's pull up the playoff bracket to see how it's filling out. Liquid will advance to the semifinal and face off against Cloud9 next Saturday, and we'll be able to fill out more of those blanks after tomorrow's quarterfinal matchup between number 4 Team Impulse and 5th seed Gravity. Now, what are you guys looking forward to in tomorrow's matchup?
I'm anxious to see how Rush adapts to the tank meta. I know he's been playing some Sejuani. He wants to pick up the tank junglers, but right now it's kind of sink or swim for him, because I know St. Vicious plays a whole bunch of champions. He has a whole bunch of styles he can pull out, and I feel like right now it's sink or swim, because we saw how the Bruisers fared today with Smithy, and we saw how when people pick up a tank jungler that they are not 100% comfortable on, even though the champion's powerful, you still have to be relatively good on it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to, is that jungle matchup.
Yeah, you mentioned the tank meta, and I agree. You can anticipate tanks to come out. Maybe there is some strategy out there that beats double tank really easily. Maybe the case, but I really want to see which Team Impulse shows up, right? There's the Impulse that 2-0 Gravity, the Impulse that have impressive, like 25-minute wins, it feels like, because they're on fire, they're hitting all their skill shots, they're making all the right plays. Or is it the one that, Xiao counterpicks himself and goes 0-6 against Pobelter? Like, I want to know which Impulse shows up, and then also which Gravity shows up, and which players on Gravity show up, because you've got guys like Bunny Fufu who will single-handedly win your team the game, as we saw from Gravity last week, or are they all going to be sort of, on paper where they're supposed to be kind of inferior to the Impulse players? Let's see who shows up.
Right, we've seen giant games from Cop and Keen as well, so there are a number of players on that team that have the potential to carry. It's a matter of whether or not they can. Well, the LCS playoffs continue tomorrow, starting in Europe with Gambit Gaming versus the Unicorns of Love. And immediately following the conclusion of that best-of-5 series, we'll bring the action back to North America for Team Impulse and Gravity. Our coverage starts at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central European Summertime. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Stage is set for our first quarterfinal series between Chronologic Gaming and Team Liquid. But they might use it here onto Link. There it is. He gets the flash lockdown position reverser. They're going to eat up Link. Nicely going over to Team Liquid as they brought it back into their favor.
Corki's coming. That's okay. Corki's coming, guys, okay? He's right here. I'm ulting. Corki's there. I can ult you. Double it. I'm ulting. Hey, double him, the boy.
And the team comes up with a win. Game 2, Team Liquid.
We're just here because it's Saturday.
Preach it, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Preach it, brother.
The early bird got store.
I love when you lock in Vlad Vashon.
Thanks, man.
You just look excellent.
Just got to go through this together, guys.
We've been here before.
And remember,
the river will run red.
oh, right.
Oh my god.
The river will run red.
Few more transfusions, that should be a dead Link. The blue buff going over to Phoenix. He flashes out, and he gets to play it. As they try to assess the fight, he goes back in, he gets popped. There it is! He locks down the prison, the cuffs are on. Squeaks out alive on the Poro as well. CLG's falling inside their base for what could be the final push here from Team Liquid. A textbook from start to finish in a best-of-5 series here for our first quarterfinal. Team Liquid takes down Counter Logic Gaming to move on.